You are now about to go on a generic side quest.
School, man. School, work.
What are you taking?
Philosophy and psychology. It's okay.
Welcome to another generic side quest, a generic transmission. This is the Wrestling Pod edition. This week, I have a few guests with me, special guests actually.
The specialist of guests.
Why don't you guys introduce yourself, leaving the special guest for last?
Ooh.
I'm here with...
Oh, you're pointing at me, so I'm not the special guest. This is Ricky the Leaf, 8-bit to the future.
Sean Alley. Oh, do I get my surname? Mid-card blogger, for anyone who reads that. Walk with Ali on Twitter.
And name's Miguel.
Don't give your surname.
No.
Okay.
No.
Any other aliases, sir?
Not that I could say on this podcast.
Man. There's Miguel Jackson.
Big
There
Dick
is.
Johnson.
Also that. Also
Pokemon
that.
Master Miguel.
Also that. Also that. Yes.
Today, guys, I think we will go a little bit more casual with our wrestling pod. It's been very busy the last few weeks. I think we could all attest to that. So I think this discussion will be more about how we view the wrestling industry, the pro wrestling industry, and probably where we want to see it go. I think first we'll start off with Miguel. Why don't you let the people know a little bit about you? Like, when did you start watching wrestling?
I grew up luckily in the 90s, so I was blessed when it comes to wrestling. I was not allowed to watch it when it was really, when it was its golden age, the Attitude Era.
Oh.
It was a taboo in my household,
Oh, man.
which made me want to watch it even more.
Yep.
I eventually started sneaking some glances on like Raw and stuff, and then you always find out about you eventually find out about DX and Stone Cold.
Suck It.
You see some T-shirts. People start saying "suck it." You're like, what the hell is that? So yada yada. I eventually got really into it a little later on in high school, so around 16, and that was when Attitude Era was long gone, and it was, I think, right when I got into it was actually WrestleMania 20.
So who was the main guy? Do you remember?
So back then it was Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. They just were at the pinnacle. So
they were part of the SmackDown 5. Any Raw guys? Maybe Cena or Orton?
The 20.
Cena was just starting pretty much.
Yeah,
around
Cena
that
was
time.
just he beat JBL that WrestleMania, I think,
21.
for the title.
Oh, so that was
No,
his
that was
come up.
20, wasn't
No,
it?
20 was Big
JBL
Show
was
for the U.S. title, right?
Hey!
That was Ricky the Leaf. That wasn't Walk with Ali. There you go.
Wait,
this
so
cuck
who
has
beat-
skill.
So wait, what was it? Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20?
Kurt Angle versus Eddie.
Right, for
Right.
the title. Okay.
Oh, that's why they celebrated.
Yeah, so
Benoit
remember
came.
Benoit had won the Rumble,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he went over to Raw.
Right.
And he was on SmackDown.
And he
so-
beat Michaels and Triple H.
and Triple H. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
That was
yeah.
a good.
But Triple H
Main
was
event,
also
man.
a top guy. Shawn Michaels was a top guy.
Right.
Randy Orton and Batista were on the ascent.
Mm.
Mick Foley and The Rock had come back at that time, but
Oh,
no part-timers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Brock Lesnar was on his way out.
So it was a transitional
So
phase.
that's why they were starting to build heels like JBL, Booker T,
Right.
and those guys.
Kane and Taker also had a match at 20.
Yeah, that's when Taker came back as
Taker
Deadman.
came back.
Chris
right.
Jericho also
That match wasn't very
was
good.
always around that area, like the top, and Kurt Angle.
So that's pretty much when you came in.
Came back.
Yeah. I mean, I fell out of it, I'd say, a few years later than that, maybe 5 years later. But generally now my perspective on wrestling is that it's just been on a decline ever since the Attitude Era, which, I mean, everybody would think that because, you peaked at the Attitude Era, but it's been
At least people
I'm
our
very
generation.
cynical of what it is today. I just think it's really, really bad. So that's going to be my general position on
Okay.
wrestling
I
now.
think you also have to point out, knowing you as a friend, even before the Attitude Era, you're a big fan of the Hitman.
Right.
So
Bret
that's-
Hart.
that's
Yes,
Right.
Bret Hart was a basically extended family at one point.
Yo, were you ever into WCW?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah,
No.
so-
Never watch a second of it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's why we can't have Mina on the podcast.
If we do a WCW podcast,
Was
He'll
Mina
host.
into it?
He liked WCW, yeah.
So he's an
Out of all of
ROH
us.
and
Hey,
WCW guy. Okay, so can I ask why you said it about 5 years you kind of fell off?
Yeah.
Why?
I think, I mean, again, the quality, that's a very general thing to say, but I could just tell the quality was depreciating. Cena was a big one for me.
Oh really?
Yeah,
You didn't like
Cena-
the Hogan-esque?
No, I didn't like the run. I did not like the run at all, man. And like we would get, I don't say that I generally like the heels, but Cena just irked me, and his run was ridiculous. And
you were a big Evolution guy.
Loved Evolution.
Yeah.
Loved Evolution.
I remember that.
But his run really irked me, and like the people on the other side of the antithesis of Cena, they didn't get their day very often. Like Edge had the one win where me and Sean embraced at that New Year's Revolution. We genuinely embraced after 20 years of friendship.
All around the basement.
But that was like really rare. So I mean,
The embracer, though.
Oh man,
both. So I mean, he was a big part, but there was just also the superstars have been lacking, and they've been lacking ever since the Attitude Era. And today it's just like, I mean, I don't even think there really is one. I don't think there's one transcendental guy.
I feel like it's cyclical. I think it's coming back to that now.
Okay.
Everybody is getting in gear. The women are more prominent, but they're taking on that attitude role. Like Becky Lynch they want to push her as a new Stone Cold for the women's division. I could see it. And they're not shoving Roman Reigns down our throat like they did Cena back in like 2005 or whatever. Right. So I think they are going back to a better time, but will it appeal to us now? I'm not sure. The Fiend stuff is good. Sean, you like the Fiend, right? Is that still... Do you think it's harkening back to the Attitude Era?
I don't know why you would want... Like, it depends what you want. So the golden era of like the early 90s is all character driven. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. Those are all characters, which were colorful. It wasn't about the in-ring so much. You could go back and be like, well, these matches are not that exciting, but you were still excited and captivated.
Hogan had like 3 moves, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't about, like, nobody cared about how you did a vertical suplex or whatever, Pimpsonata, whatever they call these. Like, that's not even a move, but they're giving these all these
sounds
fancy
like one.
names.
It did sound like...
You had me.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Dominican roll-up or something like that.
And then you went
Savio
to...
Vega,
and then it's kind of your cycle. Like, then you had your Bret Harts and your Shawn Michaels who were technicians.
Yeah.
But you also had your Diesel and, like, Psycho Sid, who people were captivated by. And then you went to the Attitude Era, where Stone Cold and The Rock were just larger-than-life superstars. But if you go back to... Stone Cold and Rock matches were exciting, but they weren't these, quote-unquote, kind of like the matches we kind of have become accustomed to see in 2019, that people want to go longer, and the moves are more captivating.
But here's the thing. I know the moves are... the matches are longer now. The moves are more intricate. They're doing cooler things. Like, I know there's mixed feelings in the room about Seth Rollins, but his buckle bomb, I always thought that as a kid playing with action figures, but to see someone actually do it, buckle bomb, if you don't know, is when they power bomb someone into the turnbuckle. It looks vicious, but it's safe, whatever. With all that being said, the moves are cool. You have people like Ali doing like kick flips off man's chest, like Mortal Kombat stuff. With that being said, if you get The Rock and Stone Cold to redo one of their matches today, it will still be better than half the stuff we see.
Because they're personalities, right?
I don't think it's the personalities.
You really think it's the in-ring talent then?
There's no...
I do think it's the ring psychology.
It's not. Well, it is, but that's based character driven. Like the in-ring psychology, you have to be invested in somebody. I can be invested in you doing 50 flips, but if your 50 flips leads to a 1 count, then I know that all that time wasted you brought me in has led to nothing.
Right.
But I think...
But I feel like... Sorry to cut you off. I feel like The Rock and Austin and Taker and Kane and Triple H, they hit harder. They hit harder, so the moves meant more. You don't normally see Triple H go for a... remember when he used to do the reverse Indian Deathlock? Mm-hmm. That was cool. We don't see side Russian leg sweeps no more. We don't see certain moves, and I think those moves...
That's fine, but Triple H was also somebody you did not want to see win. Because he continuously held the belt, won by nefarious means, and like he cut a racist promo against Booker T. Nobody wanted to see him win.
Correct.
He beat up Shawn Michaels when he returned from a back injury and being away from the ring for so long. So I'm invested in Triple H, the character, as like, I hate this guy. Mm-hmm. When he's hitting moves, like, I'm seeing him get the advantage and like, crap, he's actually really good in the ring.
Yeah.
Plus I hate him, so I know he's going to win, which is I'm emotionally
Okay,
invested because
okay.
I don't want to see him win.
All right.
Whereas, like, I like Shinsuke Nakamura, but take him or leave him. Like, he can hit a hard knee, but if I don't see
Okay.
Shinsuke has been fighting months to get this title shot, and I know if he hits a Kinshasa, he's going to win the belt, but I've
Right.
never seen no build up to that.
Right.
If he just gets a title shot,
I think
I don't care.
I think
Okay.
if we're speaking, because we're speaking about individuals, right? And the Attitude Era, you know, just in its name, the Attitude Era, it was about the individual being like really rebellious, you know, and like WWF rebelling against even just cable television, right? Like Austin was one of the first guys to throw up middle fingers on television at the time. They had Sable half naked on TV.
She
That
showed up
wouldn't-
with just paint handprints on her titties. Like, that's it. Just paint.
That wouldn't have happened in the 90s. Like, that's just like that just never happened. So like I think those guys, they took it upon themselves to like rise above the what normally was on television and what normally was, I guess, expected from a wrestler. And nowadays, like with your Seth Rollins and your Roman Reigns, I've heard on other podcasts that, like, you know, they're basically fed scripts and that
Sure.
they're not allowed to go off script.
Yeah.
Like, they basically have to read verbatim. Like, Roman Reigns messes up on a script, he'll just go back to the script line. Like, he doesn't really ad-lib or anything. So, like, and that doesn't
Cena-
allow for people to be creative, you know?
Cena actually called him out for that. I remember they had a face-off.
Which
Did you
doesn't make
see
any
that?
sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Because-
any sense because Cena reads from scripts too.
But not even that. You're calling out a guy for adhering to the job that he's been hired to do
Right.
on a TV program that he's been hired to
But-
perform.
but I
and
think
you're
it's-
saying, hey, as a fellow person in this place that knows how things work, how come you don't remember a line that you should remember that I've remembered, but
Right.
I'm able to say something off script,
Right.
and I'm calling you out for.
But it's the
something
CM
like-
Punk argument. It's the brass ring argument. Do you go off script and do you reach for the brass ring? Or do you stay on script and reach for the brass ring? Like, which one do you do? I know Austin has said, "Yeah, you guys need to start doing things for yourself."
It's
But
two different. Like, it's
Austin
two
doesn't work for the
different eras.
company.
WWF back then was actually had competition in WCW. If you didn't perform, people are gonna WCW could surpass WWF, and we could have
well, for a long time they did.
right. And so if you're not doing good business, like WCW's fate, I don't think the WWF would have ever went under, but
Nah.
that's a push, right? Like, people
Yeah.
are not watching us, and
Competition.
I'm out there.
Competition.
I'm out there trying to perform, and I'm Triple H, I'm The Rock, and nobody's watching me. I'm gonna take that pretty personal. Now it's like, oh, they'll just stream me later.
Well,
They'll just watch me later.
speaking of competition, Miguel, what do you think of AEW? Do you know anything about AEW?
Do not know very
I think I
much.
said competition.
man.
Do not know very much other than my boy Bret Hart was on there, and
Right.
that they've had one pay-per-view so far after
Technically one, yeah.
technically one, right? I know of a guy named Kenny Omega. I know Jericho's been on there.
He is actually their
You've named
champion.
their
Is he
roster.
their champion? What's
You've named their roster.
that? That's all I know, though. That's really all I know.
All right, nothing
Yeah.
with the Young Bucks and anything like that.
No.
Hangman Page. Okay, cool.
Cool name, though. Hangman
cool,
Page.
cool
Very
last
cool
name.
name.
Yeah. So, what do you think about? Do you think anybody can come into the space of WWE? Do you think they can have competition at this point? Speaking strictly on the fan side of things, not business. Business, they kill it. They're done. No one can compete with them. On the fan side of things, do you think they can have competition?
I think it's possible. Like, I think because you see like the rise of some independent stars, like you can see a like off-brand thing happen. I think like CM Punk was an independent guy.
Yeah,
as
he's the
much
king
as-
of the independents, basically.
Right, and as much as I despise Seth Rollins, I think he was an independent
exactly.
guy. So like,
what's his name? Black.
Tyler Black.
Tyler Black. Yeah.
yeah.
Mr. Black.
So like, I think seeing like how much independence, I guess, has flourished over the last few years or decade, you can say.
Yeah.
It's possible to see somebody make some noise somewhere. Obviously, on the business end, though, you know, WWE is Marvel, and everybody else is somebody's like random sketchbook. You know, it's like nothing. It's
Image
not,
Comics or something.
yeah, it's not it's not registering on anybody's radar. So, but I think like old WWE fans, which there definitely are some. There's 4 at this table. They are probably hungry for like some good shit. Like, and there's just not.
It's good shit, brother.
We just like anytime a single old wrestler shows up, man, it's like we die for that. Like, that's the
Yeah.
only time I ever tune in. It's like when I know there's some classic dudes on. Like,
Right.
Austin's gonna be on, whatever, Hogan, whoever the hell's going to be on, or even any sort of pay-per-view. Like, otherwise, there's just not a single guy.
Hogan and Flair are going to be on next week.
There you go.
I want to throw out a question to the room now that a few of you mentioned that AEW might be competition, not business-wise, right? And a few people have said that WWE has declined in quality or declined in their mind, right? So do you really think WWE is that much of a powerhouse that they're basically the Disney of this type of entertainment? That
That's that's a great association. WWE is Disney, 100%.
But you don't think they can ever like go under, pretty much?
No, I think they could be chipped away at, but the empire will still stand.
Yeah.
Like somebody could take a percentile of their viewership.
Yeah, of their market share, basically.
But they're still going to be, like you say, Disney.
Sean, I think you would know WWE when Vince Jr. started, he bought up territories, and that pissed off the territory. Well, he bought up territories, meaning he bought up talent from those territories. So
talent, like in the territories, they'd always like migrate to different areas, but Vince kind of made it inevitable to be like, I'm coming into this cable market.
Yeah.
And it's like what we have, like the Southwest market. And it's like, okay, well, you can have it, but I'm also going to be there.
Right.
And that's like, so when he defends it by saying, I didn't run anybody out of business, they just couldn't compete, which is half a dozen and whatever the saying is.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing. So he just shows up, and he's essentially done that again now at AEW. NXT is now live on Wednesdays, which is the same time slot as AEW. And we talk about competition.
But I was even going in now, so he did it with the physical wrestlers back in the day. Now he's doing it with the video libraries of these old territories and these old companies. So if you were an old wrestling fan of like, what was Jerry the King Lawler's? Memphis. If you want to watch anything Memphis, you go on the WWE network. Nowhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His only competition was the NWA, but they're not really doing anything anymore.
No, they're trying to bring it back, but it's nothing. It's
going to be
like
an
an
niche
independent,
market.
right?
Yeah.
Right,
like,
exactly. I remember
There's no
TNA
threat.
at one point had that title, but then they separated.
But people would trust the lineage that WWE would portray of the
Exactly.
NWA versus any other startup, right? 'Cause
Right.
all the content is there.
So speaking of the Disney and WWE comparison, a great comparison. I'm still
sorry to interrupt. I have a better analogy for what WWE is. WWE is like what Coca-Cola is to soda. People don't even say soda. They use the brand term to define what something is. Or like Kleenex is tissue paper.
Yeah.
WWE is the Kleenex of wrestling, man.
The Q-tips.
The Q-tips.
Exactly.
What is the actual...
Cotton swab.
Cotton swab. There you go.
No, I agree 100% with what you guys are all saying.
I think you guys are saying the same thing, really.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I'm not saying I think they're going to go under, ever, right? But do you think there's ever a chance, because there's always, I guess this is coming from a business standpoint, because that's what I took in school, that everything has a life cycle. Everything. Some might be shorter, some might be longer. You think WWE is always going to be around as long as there's professional wrestling? WWE will be around,
but it's not going to be your dad's. I mean, not specifically your dad, but like wrestling was. So you had kayfabe, which if people don't know, is like you keep your character, and they've evolved from that, right? And it was two guys maintaining character, and you really thought this guy was the evil Russian. And he hated people even though he was a guy from Minnesota who's an American, right? Like, but people bought into, or Kamala thought was an African who didn't speak and was a savage. Like, we were given that kind of kayfabe. And then we transitioned to over more like kind of wrestlers that they're athletes, and now we're kind of just, they're straight up athletes.
Yeah.
But WWE is not portraying the same wrestling that it once built its like bread and butter on.
Can't.
Now they go back and say, here's also a backstory of how this person actually found out that they love wrestling, and then you have your chronicles, but people are probably more inclined to watch. Like when we saw the Becky Lynch one, it wasn't about the last kicker or the man. It was about Becky Lynch, who eventually became and adopted the moniker.
That was cool.
And like people are like, whoa, like how did you make it here? And that's what like WWE's feeding people now.
Which is a very NXT way of doing things, but which is also a very indie way of doing things. So I think they are learning from the indies.
And a very entertainment way of doing things in terms of producing more of a TV show more than just a wrestling program.
Or even just how people... it is evolved, but even how people want to relate. Like, we live in the social media era. We don't want to know that Undertaker is a dead man You know, like, no, he's a guy, he has a wife and all this stuff. He has a big presence on Michelle McCool. He has a big presence on her social media. It's weird seeing Undertaker be this dad, but he is. But that's how we want to consume our media now. We want to be close to our celebrities, and wrestlers are celebrities. They are athletic celebrities, right? So I think WWE has moved towards that, and I think wherever media turns to, they will turn.
They'll
to.
be at the forefront, basically, or
Maybe not the forefront.
following the trends and the way people want to consume things.
So I think
they're always going to be around.
They will always be around. I think so.
Fair enough.
And they dominate YouTube. And
I think WWE, and I just kind of thought of this right now, they can eventually get to the point where they have their own production. And I know they do make movies and shit, but like they can run like a Netflix style thing where they make their own shit.
Easily.
And like,
well, that's what
they have TV shows that are starred by wrestlers.
That's
well,
what
they do that already
is.
on the network. They
They
have
have
a few.
specific shows.
But like good ones though, like not the Matt Hardy one.
You're talking
that
about like a
one's
Netflix original
like
where
a,
it's
like a good
drama
quality,
or
like really
yeah.
high
Edge
quality.
and Christian had their thing. I don't know. I think they had a few things. Remember they had the old timers
Legends
one,
House.
Legends
They
House.
had,
Yeah,
like,
But this is more
Dragon.
reality TV shows that you guys are talking about. I think he's talking about more if they made a Breaking
Produced.
Bad with like wrestlers,
Stranger
type of thing.
Things.
Yeah,
Like-
something like of high production value and
think
it's
that-
well
that's
received.
Like a
something to look
subscription
forward
okay,
plan,
so
like-
hear me out. Camp WWE. Have you guys ever heard of this?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever watched it?
No.
It's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It was
This
okay.
is the same man that says Simpsons Today is good though, so
Some
like take
episodes-
that for a grain of
no,
salt.
Some episodes today are good. I will not back down from that.
Good meaning shit.
That's interesting. I did not like it. I thought it was really bad.
Camp WWE.
For what it was and for who it was targeted to, I thought it was good.
Cups.
Cartoon?
Yeah.
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 Targeted towards
Didn't
cups.
see it.
Not Mike Kanellis. No. Okay, so have you guys watched the Ricky and Miguel? Have you watched the program recently? Meaning SmackDown, NXT, or Rise War? Well, Raw.
Oh wow, way back. I watched the last 10 minutes of the last pay-per-view because I was late for it. I was at
What
a wedding.
happened? What happened there?
Seth was fighting Braun Strowman. I
Absolute,
wasn't really.
absolute wrestling classic, by the way.
Yeah, the thing
That's
is, I
going
got there
down.
halfway through the match, and we were all chatting and stuff, so I wasn't even paying attention. So I can't even justify that. I like Seth, so I'll you know what, make fun of him all you want.
No. We spoke about this last pod that you like Seth, and that speaks a billion to what his character is and how they're pushing him.
And to his taste, Ricky's general taste in wrestling and in people,
Which is good. Taste is good.
Miguel, I know you said you had distaste for Seth Rollins.
Extreme distaste, yes. I don't like seeing people at the top who just, don't have anything to give. And Ricky's gone. It's his own condo.
So
I watched the Night of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions.
So Cock, you watch Cock.
I watched, yes.
Oh man.
Cock. And just before this podcast started, we watched some SmackDown and Raw, so I also watched it then. And but I've been on a couple of pay-per-view streaks recently. I've watched 2 pay-per-views at Mr. Ali's humble abode, and they were both pretty of low quality, I would say.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's funny.
Well, Lesnar lost, which I wasn't happy about a couple months ago.
Right.
Kofi's still champion, which I'm very unhappy about.
You're very unhappy
Very
about?
unhappy
I love
about
Kofi
that.
Kingston
No,
as a champion.
no.
Ricky, how do you feel about Kofi?
I've always liked Kofi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As a champion, his championship run.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's faced a lot of people, but I like that he's a champion that's actually defending the belt.
Exactly,
too.
right?
And it's not just like by accident that he's defending it.
Yeah. How about you, Sean? What do you think about Kofi?
Sean
I
likes
like
Kofi.
Kofi. I was never a big fan, to be honest, of Kofi. Like,
Even though he's from Jamaica?
I really bought into his story. I liked some of the guys he beat, but he beat some like Owens, Samoa Joe, Orton, but he's never really taken it to that next gear. So now for me,
Well, he beat Orton.
It's kind of time to take the belt off him.
Did he beat Orton?
He beat Orton.
Yeah,
Like, he
Orton.
beat him
Yeah,
afterwards.
he beat him.
Clean.
Clash of Champions.
Oh, okay.
After beating
Now,
Dominic.
I don't like Kofi's offense. His in-ring work, like his moves, I wouldn't pick as my moveset if I was playing a video game. I love that he's a fighting champ. I love that he's still charismatic.
Yeah.
I love
His
that.
pecs?
No, his pecs. No, but that's a medical condition.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Wait, you like Kofi?
Yeah, I know. It's a surprise, and he doesn't like Kofi. I'm pointing at Miguel right now.
Interesting.
Or Bobby Lashley.
Miguel.
Oh God.
See?
Oh my God.
There you go.
This table has more personality than Bobby
Or
Lashley.
Booker T.
You see where we're going with that?
No. What do you? I don't get it.
You like Ahmed Johnson?
Hate him.
He approved of
Wasn't
Trudeau.
Ahmed Johnson basically the
supporter of-
Bobby Lashley of his time?
No, he had more charisma.
Didn't like Crime
Lashley.
Time.
Okay, time out. Whoa. Everybody is shitting on Bobby Lashley. Did you all watch Bobby Lashley in TNA?
What the hell's TNA?
Okay, then. Okay.
He was in TNA?
Yeah, he
thought
would.
he
He
went
had
to
a
MMA.
no. He did both
both.
at
Oh,
the
he
same
did both.
time. He had almost undefeated. I think he,
He
has
was
one
good
loss.
in TNA from what I heard.
He was wicked in TNA.
Was he?
For some reason, he felt more. I think he felt more freer, so he was able to portray a character. In WWE, they just want him to be the muscle, so he can't really do what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In TNA, I feel like, and shout out to Impact Wrestling, like they're still doing their thing, and I'm pretty sure they're Canadian now. They have most of their shows here, so he had more freedom. Bobby Lashley is a diamond in the rough. They just need to give him free reins to do whatever he wants. But it is the WWE machine, and we are used to certain things, so we will continue to see Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan, who just made a face turn, which was long overdue. What are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan? Everybody on the table
Like now?
right now.
Okay. Other than seeing that face turn, I don't know much about what's been happening with Daniel Bryan. I know, has it been a year now that he's been back?
Yeah.
From cleared to wrestle. I've always been a Daniel Bryan fan with the whole yes, yes, yes movement.
Okay, so he stopped that when he came back. He came back. He was still kind of a face, but then he turned heel. He was like this eco warrior. Don't eat meat. I love the earth. Don't he would like lambast the audience for using plastic straws and stuff. And then he teamed up with Rowan. It's your typical Shawn Michaels Diesel. Rowan was his muscle, so we thought. Recently they had to me, Sean, you would know, or you could give your opinion at least, on the Roman Reigns storyline where people try to kill him. Roman Reigns actually, it had a storyline. It was kind of soap opera-y where he was walking backstage and then someone would push over like 100 crates on him, or he was walking in the parking lot and someone would try to drive him over with a car. So that
Sean put it perfectly. He's like, you remember the Austin storyline with
Perfect.
Rikishi? He's like, it's exactly like that, but really shittier. I'm like,
okay,
oh,
so that's Sean's opinion. I actually liked the shit. I actually liked it.
He also likes Camp WWE.
Right. And you're a Seth Rollins fan, so
Okay.
everybody's got a flaw here, I
And
guess.
you're just a special guest that will never be on again.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Actually, he might take a Ricky Lee spot
Oh,
still.
man.
Damn.
Sean, what do you think of the Roman Reigns storyline leading up to the big reveal?
I think those storylines are great, like in the sense of somebody's trying to take out the big star.
Yeah.
They're doing it through like a very cowardly, low human quality move of like trying to
Murder.
So you have a very basic level where people can relate. Crap, they're trying to kill my favorite guy.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why would you do this as a kid? It makes me sad, makes me upset. Also, who is this? Like, we don't know
Exactly.
who done it.
The who done it.
So WWE does what they do best, which is overcomplicate and overthink. It sounds very much like me. So when you have that level of, I don't know, like what it is. So then they was spotted like Buddy Murphy. Then Buddy Murphy was like, I don't know who did it.
Speaking
Then he
of that,
said-
okay, so, and I'm putting my love of this storyline into even the Buddy Murphy
Accident.
program. Accident. It was an accident, but I'm even putting my love into that because we got to see Buddy Murphy shine. Now, I never watched 205 Live.
He was never seen again.
But he did have a big match with Roman Reigns. So, like, remember the Jeff Hardy Undertaker match? Way back when, the ladder match. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Sick for the WWE title.
Yeah. Oh, when he was the Big Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim Ross was selling the shit out of it. And Jeff Hardy kept on getting back up. And Taker came in and he's like, congratulations, whatever.
Yeah.
Similar thing happened with Buddy Murphy and Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns, like it or not, is the big dog of the WWE now. Vince loves him. The fans love him.
The fans love him now?
The fans love him. He beat cancer, bro. Fans love him.
He beat leukemia. Let's make that clear.
I'm just
It's man.
Semantics, man.
Can we? Can I
So
not
Miguel,
be on this?
you are the permanent replacement for Ricky the Leaf.
Oh, man.
I'm
Anyways.
proud to take this role.
So Buddy Murphy had a good showing against Roman Reigns on SmackDown, and Roman Reigns gave him the little nod. Roman Reigns beat him, but he gave him the little nod after, like, okay, I see you. I'm appreciative of that. That came out of this storyline. The whodunit came out of this storyline. I tuned into SmackDown to see, what are they going to do next? Continue, Sean. Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, just to build off your point, key difference, even though they did something with Jeff Hardy the next week. Then Jeff Hardy went on to win the European Championship.
Kind of. They didn't really do anything. Jeff Hardy
He won a European Championship.
European was third tier.
Well, where's Buddy Murphy?
Fair
He's
enough.
done nothing. He's
Fair
not won a
enough.
title. He beat Daniel Bryan the next week. Meant nothing. He lost.
But
to
that's
Ali.
Daniel Bryan, a former champ, a multiple
But he's done
champion.
nothing. That's fine. You can win 2 big wins. Like Kevin Federline has pinned John Cena. Like what does that mean to anything?
Freddie Prinze Jr. was a world
he
heavyweight
lost,
championship.
No, he wasn't.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
David
No.
Arquette.
David Arquette.
Oh, my bad.
And then
Freddie Prinze Jr.
and then
actually
Buddy
wrote for
Murphy jobbed
WWE.
to Ali in the first round of the King of the Ring. Like at least if Buddy Murphy.
But it was a
went
good
toe-to-toe-
showing. It was a good showing. It wasn't a job.
So that's the bar now. A good showing. That's why people don't watch wrestling.
right.
Like I'm not. You want to come over and watch 3 hours for a good showing? Or do
We're
you want
not
to see
saying
winners
3
and
hours.
losers?
We're not saying 3 hours. Watch
But
SmackDown.
it's a good show. Like a good showing is not good enough. Imagine the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and Macho Man had a good showing. Macho Man is not.
But that's what Macho Man's career was.
I
a showing.
very much disagree.
What do
with
you mean
that.
by a good
No,
showing?
no.
What's a good showing?
The Macho Man won a WWE championship
For sure.
main
Macho.
event at
No, time out. Time
was
out.
A good in-ring
Whoa,
play,
whoa.
but
But he didn't do it on day one. He didn't do it on day one.
Okay, but Buddy
Macho
Murphy got here on
Man
day one.
for day one was a good showing. He was a character. He lost his matches. When he was the Macho King, he wasn't the greatest or whatever. He
yeah, but
didn't
that's
win.
not what we're talking about.
Is
here,
a good
though.
showing a wrestling term that I haven't been tuned in on? Is it like
Sorry,
kayfabe or
good
worker?
showing. Yeah, sorry. So good showing would be work ethic. You're booked to lose, but you look good losing.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Okay. So a worker.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good
For
worker.
for a long time, Benoit was a worker. For a long time, Eddie was a worker. You feel me?
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin is
Work.
still a worker.
Man can work, man.
You feel me?
Can't talk on a mic.
We gotta bring Mama back.
Kofi's a worker.
That was a great
too.
storyline.
Kofi's
He
a
was a
worker
worker for
too.
a long
Definitely,
time.
Kofi's a worker. Is he a WWE champ though? Yeah.
He is a WWE
He
champ.
is. Yes, he is.
technically.
But ought to is a different question.
Big E, another
But
worker.
I don't know
think he
Buddy
could excel.
Murphy though. I don't know who this person is.
Because you haven't been. I'll show you the match.
Uh-huh.
I'll show you the match.
Yeah.
And you tell me what you think.
Is he comparable to Jeff Hardy?
No.
Not even in the same combo?
No. It's weird. That's a weird.
Because you made the relation of
I feel
Roman
you, I feel
Reigns
you.
and that. And
I feel you. Not as much charisma as Jeff Hardy.
Buddy Murphy's excellent. I have nothing
I don't know who
wrong
Buddy
with
Murphy
Buddy
is
Murphy's
either.
in ring.
Yeah, but what's your
But Buddy
issue?
Murphy, and this is gonna sound terrible.
They
Buddy
did-
Murphy's like Marty
did-
Jannetty. Like
They
you
did
know-
nothing with him,
He's
basically.
like Bob Holly. Like these
Yeah.
are all good in ring. Like you give them 20 minutes, they'll have an excellent match.
Right.
So they're wasting his talent,
I
basically.
think they're wasting him.
They
I
are.
do think they're wasting him.
Now
But I'm saying there's nothing
this
that came
is
of this
Sean. Do you
storyline.
watch 205 Live?
No, not anymore.
Okay, so this is no viewer from 205 Live.
But there's no reason to watch 205 Live. I've watched 205 Live, and I have no.
Did we
purpose
get
ever
it
come
in
back.
Canada?
It's on the network.
Is that our Velocity? Is that 2019 Velocity?
No, it's like a cruiserweight show. I
cruiserweight.
watched when Buddy Murphy beat Cedric Alexander. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch a Super Showdown in Australia, and I want to see Buddy Murphy win the cruiserweight title. Excellent match.
Speaking of Cedric, do you have
But
Sean?
what-
What do you
like,
think of Cedric?
He's just not being utilized, basically. Or
There's nothing like Cedric's a good wrestler, like, but I don't know what I would do with him.
Right.
so he's like a Buddy Murphy to you.
They're all like, of all the people, at least Ali had vignettes to be like, this is why I fight in the ring.
Right.
I don't know anything about Buddy Murphy other than he's on. I followed Buddy Murphy when he was in NXT.
Yeah.
When he won the NXT. Like,
Right.
there's nothing,
Right.
But to me, he's a generic. Like he's just a generic, excellent wrestler.
Really?
There's
That's
all
about
he is.
that's about 95% of the
That's
roster
exactly,
though.
yeah.
That's about 95% of the
Like you
roster.
need to stick out. Everybody can do all these excellent moves in the WWE. At some, like there's a majority of guys, right? If it's not Buddy Murphy, it's Seth Rollins. If it's not Seth Rollins, it's Ali. If it's not Ali, it's Adam Cole. If it's all these guys, Sami Zayn. Anybody can do these moves. Like it's not enough to just be excellent at wrestling.
Right.
For the audio,
Right now.
For the audio listeners right now, which is the only version we have of this
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Real typed in 10 most generic
No,
wrestlers, and Buddy Murphy is all 10. It's a weird list. I've never seen a list like this. No, he's showing us
And
a match.
that's character. Like, that's
Oh
charisma.
man, thank
Yeah.
you. It's Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy, SmackDown Live, August 13th, 2019.
What would you guys what would you guys say is the top tier right now of wrestling? Name 3 guys who are in the upper echelon right now.
Styles.
AJ
I would
Styles.
say AJ Styles. I would say Chris Jericho. I would say Kenny Omega.
3 guys, that's it? That's your 3?
That's my 3.
You just named 2 AEW guys in there.
I can't name any other WWE guys. Who else is there? I can't say Kofi. Even though I like Kofi, I can't say Kofi. I
AJ
can't say
Styles is probably the
I
best.
can't say Brock because he's never there.
Talking about overall package.
I'm saying overall package, yeah.
eh?
Overall
Damn.
current package.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
That's currently what I'm saying. 100%.
That is saying something
Who
about
would-
the current climate
Who
of
would you
wrestling.
say, bro?
I
You have
would
3?
Yeah, I know, right? If I gotta fill it, man, I'll throw Brock in there. You know what? Even though Paul Heyman's a different guy, I'm just gonna pretend as if they're a package.
No, that's fair.
I do like that package, man, because Paul Heyman to me is amazing. He's
you
an
know-
amazing manager.
You know, Paul is now writing for Raw.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna get good.
If I tell
Okay.
you next week to come over Monday, main event is Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins. Are you coming over?
I like you and everything, man. Like,
If
we're friends.
if I tell you on Friday, Kofi Kingston defends the WWE Championship. So Seth Rollins defends the Universal against Ray.
Yeah.
I tell you Kofi defends the WWE Championship against Brock
Good heel
Lesnar.
work.
You coming over?
He put his feet on
It's a
the-
3-hour show?
It's a 2-hour show on SmackDown, and Brock Lesnar's fighting for the WWE title.
2
I'm gonna
separate
watch
shows?
that.
That means I gotta come over twice?
You would.
Or is it a-
you
or
could
is it a
come to
one-off
one,
thing?
You could come to both. You could come to none.
Go to the SmackDown one.
Which one would you go to?
I would just avoid it altogether.
I would see Brock and Kofi.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's
For
why
sure.
Brock is a draw.
sure.
Yeah.
Now,
I like Brock.
Sean, could you name for me, please, the guy who doesn't wear the shoes on NXT?
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle. Would you watch Matt Riddle and Adam Cole?
He doesn't know who Matt Riddle is.
Don't know either of them.
Would you watch Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho?
I've yet to see Omega, but I've heard of good things. And
Over the two. The 2 options I just gave you. Matt Riddle and Adam Cole versus
Omega and
just
Omega
Omega and Jericho?
and Jericho.
I'm going to go Jericho because that's the only guy I know
Okay.
out of the 4.
Right.
Yeah. But I've heard Omega's good. That's just what from you know.
Hearsay.
Yeah, I've heard he's good.
Right. But that's my point. I think AEW is viable. It is viable. You will get your storylines with AEW. You will get your wrestling with AEW. You will get the same stuff with NXT, but I think the room is big enough for both of them. And actually, I think AEW might be a competition not just for NXT, but for maybe a Raw, you know?
It's good. I don't think... What the hell? Was that a spear? What the hell was that? The man twirled in the
Yeah,
air.
but that's
He
selling.
did that move that Sean made up earlier.
Yeah.
That Puerto Rican roll up there. That was weird.
But that's selling, and that's
Yeah.
worth work ethic. That's what we're
It's
talking about.
overselling.
I think
This is
Reigns
why
is-
Buddy Murphy is nobody right now, man.
I don't mind Reigns as much as I used to. I actually think he's not that bad.
You know what's funny? I feel
Huh.
like I'm warming up to him too. I
Yeah?
don't know
But
why.
that's what... Okay.
He's
maybe
not
because
Cena
we're,
to me.
maybe because
Like-
we're not. He's not being
He's
shoved
not being-
down our throat
exactly.
anymore.
He's definitely not what Cena was, you
No.
know?
Oh,
he's
not at all.
Like you said, he's not getting shoved
They
down
were
our throats.
posing him like that. They
They
were
were.
Yep.
posing him like that, but not anymore. He had a little break. He made some movies. He beat cancer. He came back, and we're just watching.
Man did a full-
That was a spear to a suplex. That was a modified suplex.
We're just watching the spear Roman Reigns gave to Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
And you'll see, I think in this clip, he'll actually acknowledge Buddy Murphy from the showing that he gave.
And now where is Buddy Murphy since August 13th?
205 Live.
Do you want to see Buddy Murphy again? He's not down 205 Live. He's on SmackDown. He just didn't show up. You want
Had-
to see Buddy Murphy again? Take him or leave him based on these few.
There,
minutes
you
he's
see
in.
the
No,
acknowledgement?
not really.
Nothing
No.
really to him.
Do you see the
Very
acknowledgement, though?
bland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I want
So
to.
if they did
I wanna
something,
see whoever that was.
You
That'd
went
be-
you went toe to toe with Roman Reigns. You win this match, we give you a U.S. title. That's at least something. I can
Yeah.
handle that. You went toe to toe with the top guy.
But that's not WWE at all. That's never WWE.
So then who's like? So
But
that's,
it's who's-
what's this conversation then?
I actually don't even know who the U.S. title champion is right
AJ
now.
Styles.
Oh, okay.
but
he
like
just
then-
got destroyed by Kane.
I guess yeah.
On Raw.
Yeah, but that was a setup.
It was.
Styles got destroyed by Kane on Raw?
Yeah, Kane came back.
What is happening right now?
They were in Knoxville County, so Kane had to make an appearance.
Knoxville. Yeah.
And so Kane made a comeback to save Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And which made no sense, but it was in his county. He's mayor of that place.
He just cleared the ring. I wouldn't say he destroyed AJ Styles.
Destroyed him. How are you going to take one chokeslam and then done?
Well,
even
it's to
Luke,
set up the segment that was following.
I feel you, but
it's
even
not really destroying.
no, but even Luke Gallows didn't get that.
He chokeslammed a guy lighter than him. Like, that's not destroying. That's just a weight discrepancy.
And then he never returned
Because they were setting up the next segment.
I don't know.
Okay, so AJ Styles gets chokeslams, fights Kane, and the Fiend's supposed to come in and attack Kane. That's not how you would book a segment.
Nah, you're supposed to fight Kane, then get chokeslam, not just get chokeslam. You feel me?
Okay, but that's just wrestling. That's not. I wouldn't say he got destroyed by taking one chokeslam. Like, Kane is supposed to.
No, you're the U.S. champion. You're supposed to put up a little bit of a fight.
Okay,
not
so
just...
then why did AJ like if you're champion, then don't come out and fight because you are.
Or yeah, be a cowardly heel. I'm fine with
but
that.
That makes no sense to me. That he's the champion, so he shouldn't get laid out once.
Not only that he's the champion, he's AJ Styles.
Okay, but like Seth Rollins gets laid out. Does that mean
by who?
He got laid out by the Fiend after Clash of Champions.
Okay, Clash of Champions.
And then he's cowering in the corner. Like, that's even worse.
Now he's cowering, but that's building up the Fiend, and I understand that.
Okay.
They're going to have a match. They're going to be physical, right?
Okay.
AJ Styles is not going to get redemption on Kane.
Okay.
Ever.
But does he ever need that? It's Kane.
Yeah, but it's AJ Styles. You're trying. AJ Styles is a championship competitor. Yes, he has a U.S. title now, but he can at any time go for the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. He is that caliber.
No, I agree 100%. But you think that doing this kind of hurts his progress, or I don't think so.
It should have been. He should have.
I didn't see it, but from what you guys are saying, I mean, Kane pretty much is now like a returning legend almost.
Yeah, he should have.
Right?
He should have choked Sam Anderson. He should have choked Sam Gallows. AJ Styles maybe dipped or maybe got a punch.Maybe that's all that. It was weird. It was a weird scene to me. Sean, you bought into it?
It just doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I didn't. That segment was not. That was 5 guys beat up Rollins. Kane came out to clear as a surprise. Clears the ring, and I know what's coming next. Like, the Fiend is coming to take out Kane. That's the build-up.
Right.
Should AJ Styles be a setup guy? Maybe, maybe not. To me, it doesn't really matter. But there's also that I don't really care about the U.S. title. Like that, there's no.
Yeah, but it's a stepping stone, bro. It's a stepping stone.
It's not a stepping stone.
100%. It's like the Intercontinental.
Those are not stepping stones
Those
anymore.
titles don't
WWE.
mean anything.
Yeah, but they need to be. They were designed to be.
No,
They haven't meant anything since the 90s.
They
I would
put it
say.
back on guys who are established. So AJ Styles became a WWE champion. If we put the U.S. title, it looks good because it's on a former WWE champion. It's not a stepping stone.
John Cena got a
But
U.S.
think
title
about-
after
hold on,
he was
stop.
a
It brings
champion, right?
prestige to the title, is what you're saying.
Hold on, but think about.
Other than the other way around, right?
But think about the guy who beats AJ Styles. He's now beaten a former WWE champion for a middle tie championship. That's only gonna boost you. So that's why you put the U.S. title on AJ Styles.
Which is what he's saying, though. I think you guys are both saying the same thing in this regard.
Well, I think one person's saying like you said, that the person is making the title, not the other way around. The title is not making the person.
Correct.
Like
But-
it used to be.
But
Yeah.
Like Macho Man was an Intercontinental Champion, and that was a big deal when Hogan was the heavyweight champion, right? It was like,
Yeah.
damn, that was
Well,
in
it
his
was
prime
championship
too.
for championship. Yeah.
Right. So that was a big deal back then, but nowadays, it used to be like Shelton Benjamin 10 years ago or whatever.
No,
It's
but it
like-
was usually if you won. Look at Austin. He was Intercontinental champion.
Right.
And then he won the WWE championship.
Again, though, very long time ago.
That's
I feel you.
22
Very
years
long
ago.
time
I feel
ago.
you.
It hasn't been that.
I feel you.
So basically, what you're saying is Carmella now will go for the women's title now that she's the 24/7 champ.
Actually, I feel that.
I booked it here first, folks. About time.
Okay, so clearly we disagree. We agree on some things. But where do you guys see the wrestling industry as a whole going into the future? Okay, so we have 2 casual fans. How would the wrestling industry hook you again to be a consistent fan?
I'll let Sean go first. First casual.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, because to be honest, I don't know when's the last time I tuned in on my own accord.
What would make you?
I don't know, because I will get hooked if I see a good program, if I see good wrestling, if I see characters that I like. But I don't know if I would go and turn on the TV for it. Like, if we go and chill at Sean's to watch a pay-per-view and I like it, I don't think I'm still going to tune in on Raw the next day. Even if it was great, even if it was entertaining.
Interesting.
I just don't feel like... And maybe
like
that's just...
many pay-per-views.
Yeah, but maybe that's just me. And it's my thing with... I would rather use my time, or my entertainment time, or Ricky time... like playing video games, playing or going for a walk or stuff like that. Like, I like when I see pay-per-views that I like, but I don't think I'm ever going to be super hooked into wrestling.
Pitch me a storyline that would get you.
See, that's the thing. I don't know.
No, eh?
But I guess I would rather not so much storylines, even though I appreciate like creative storylines.
What if we
I
got
would want to
more-
see more characters or more wrestlers that I like the most. So like I would rather see more AJ Styles. Or if it's a new up-and-comer that's entertaining to watch, I'd see that.
Do you think you would be more invested if it got more mainstream coverage? Like you saw it on the news?
But it already gets on the news and like ESPN.
No, I'm saying
and shit.
more. I'm saying more.
I don't think so because I don't really pay attention to that stuff anyways.
Okay.
Right? So I don't think that would get me to watch anymore.
Right.
It might, but I don't feel like I'm influenced by that as much.
Okay.
Sure, maybe if it gets more into like, you know how I'm a big like gaming fan and there was some sort of promotion that got into it and somehow got me. I still don't think I'm ever going to really get hooked into wrestling or WWE, but I'm okay with that because I always feel like I will still go back to it here and there. I'll still dabble in it, but I'm never going to be that hardcore fan, or at least I don't think I'll ever be that hardcore fan. And I think that's
No,
fine.
I'm not
I don't
saying
think they're trying to.
hardcore. I'm not
No,
saying
I know,
hardcore.
but I don't think they're trying to appeal or like WWE, McMahon, Triple H, whoever is trying to get people like me because I don't feel like I'm on the cusp of subscribing to the network.
Okay.
Of watching every week.
Right.
I will watch pay-per-views. I love watching Royal Rumble.
What would turn you off?
What would turn me off?
To be like, man, why am I like, alright, John, it's 8, head it out. This is like way too boring. Or not good use of my time.
That's a good question.
Like the current product, would you stick around for the current product
If it was
you
campy, if it was way too catered to children, if it was an attitude era and like really vulgar, like or it being 7 hours of time commitment to watch a show.
Maybe that making it too long, like WrestleMania is way too long.
Right.
Right?
Well, you
And
went
I
into
was
the
falling
next day.
asleep during the main event, which was actually a great match still. Right? The Becky match, not the best match of the night by any means, but still a good match. But fuck, I was tired. I wanted to go by that point, right? I don't know what would turn me off completely from it. But that would be one of the things if it was just too
Length.
much of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
How about you, Miguel?
What would make me get back into it? I mean, like you said, I think wrestling's probably cyclical. So I think, we went from, in a very broad sense, we went from, the 90s, which was still pretty G-rated and catered towards the younger crowd, to the Attitude Era, to like a rebellious phase. Now we're kind of back to the, catered to children. And I think eventually it will get back to like sort of an Attitude Era. I don't think it'll be as like successful as it was, just because, again, I don't think they could replicate the times. But I think you'll see more rebellious television. But it's a few years away. It's at least what I kind of theorize. It's at least like maybe 10 years away from being what it was. So like,
what would get you back?
like I would just, it would take transcendental characters, man. It would take characters that
But how would you find out
stand
about
out. I mean, just through word of mouth. Like, it would, just like how I found out when I was a kid, like how you found out about DX and Stone Cold. Like, you saw people wearing 316 t-shirts and telling you to suck it. It's like, it just picked up on its own.
Yeah.
Like, people just organically fell in love with it.
Would ESPN influence you at all?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
no. Because, I mean, even right now, like, WWE's big on YouTube. They got a massive YouTube following. Like, but I'm still not going to watch it to see Seth Rollins highlights. Like, what the
Right.
hell is that? I'm not watching no damn Seth Rollins or Kofi Kingston. Like, and there's like I said, there's just not much. And I don't mind watching the pay-per-views here and there. But, even then, I'm not really paying attention. Also, another thing I said beforehand, this is going to come off controversial, but I don't get the whole female push. I really don't. Like, I know it's like television's just generally more liberal these years.
Have you ever seen the Lita Trish
Yeah.
main event?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I mean, it was good. It was good, but is it in the top 100 wrestling matches
No,
ever?
fair
top 1,000 wrestling matches ever?
Fair enough.
I'm saying though, like there's been 50 million wrestling matches.
Yeah, I
The
feel you.
best female matches. It even looked in that top like
I feel
500.
you. I actually rate that match. Me
It's
personally,
decent. It's good.
but
It's good for what a female match was expected to be.
don't you think that with wrestling being wrestling, everything is predetermined? It's up to the athletes to be like, hey, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I can take a chair shot, I can go through a table. With that being said, don't you think the females could do exactly what the boys could do?
Definitely not. Of course not. No,
Okay.
definitely not. It's like the man. It's like put a world record deadlifter, a male deadlifter against a female deadlifter.
Correct. You're right.
The female deadlifter is not
It's
going
not
to
gonna-
crack the top 10,000 male deadlifters.
Right, but this is slightly
so the
different.
athleticism is not going to be there.
This is slightly different. Everybody could do a suplex. You and I can do a suplex if we really wanted to.
Okay.
And we're not trained in wrestling at all. And not athletic at all right now.
Right.
I think in the world of wrestling, in a stage environment, the match types can be the same.
No,
Is
they cannot
Sasha
be.
Banks ever fallen off a cell
I can see that.
onto a table?
I can see that.
Well, they might do it now
can
because
see
you see
that?
how
I can see that.
Sasha Banks
fell,
would
like,
possibly
off the
die.
side, I think.
She
Oh,
fell,
okay.
and by the
But-
way, the first Hell in a Cell, Michaels fell off the side, not the top.
Right.
But to your point, Charlotte went to slam Sasha on a table. Didn't break.
Right.
Right.
I
Wasn't a
mean,
men's match.
just
Oh, no.
empirically watching these matches, right? You can just tell there's less speed, there's less velocity, there's less strength, there's less like men and women are just not going to be the same. Like, does that mean not to have any females wrestling at all and have them just be straight up puppies on TV, which is what they were in the 90s? They were managers with thongs on.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean that either. But having them main event a WrestleMania,
Right.
please just stop this equity shit. Like,
right.
let's just stop.
But are you
pretending.
enjoying the matches? Sorry, I know
They're
this
all
went on a
right.
tangent.
They're all right, but am I gonna? And I know, and this isn't a semantical thing because I think it's more of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Because women are a big deal. Becky Lynch is on the cover of a video game now, you know, and it's like, is Becky Lynch that great? She's okay. She's not like
She's
no Austin.
She gets the people moving though.
She gets people moving.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
She gets the people moving like Austin.
She's like a Cena right
She
now.
puts
isn't
asses in
almost?
seats.
She puts asses in seats.
I guess so, but like again though, I'm just going back to what I was saying. Like, we're propping them up as if they're this thing,
But I don't think
but
that's
they're
it.
not this thing.
But I don't think that's it. I personally don't think that's it.
Okay.
But I'm glad to hear your opinion.
Right.
And I would love to talk to you next week about that.
Sure.
That's an interesting topic. I love that.
Yes.
But to move on, sorry to cut you off, bud.
Not a problem.
But are you down for next week?
I am. Yes.
All right.
If the invitation is out.
The invitation is out. Sean, what do you think?
It's my place, man. You're not gonna even ask me.
What do you think?
Thank you for the invitation to your house, Arun.
What do you What do you think wrestling industry right now? What will stop you from watching? What will continue making you watching?
For me in my station in life, as a 30-year-old adult, I'm not going to always have time to sit down and watch wrestling. And I think that's
Which
kind of
has
the
been
theme here. Will I watch wrestling consistently? Yes. Will I stay loyal to WWE? Yes, because it's a good pastime. It's a good turn off my brain from the world. I'm happy AEW exists as much as I have portrayed that I still won't watch, most likely.
Breaking kayfabe, brother.
But I'm happy they exist because NXT has averaged 1 million viewers in its debut on USA.
Yeah.
Which is far more than people assume. That's at least 1 million people watching this indie, right? On USA Network. That was last week and this week.
Now, granted, it's in the early days. It can drop off, but
It will most likely drop off, and next week we'll see.
yeah.
I don't think AEW, they might hit 1 million. We'll see. But I don't think wrestling is in the forefront of people's must-have entertainment
Not
to
as
consume.
yet. Not as yet.
I don't think it's ever going to be again. I don't think so. It's a simulated combat where the winner is determined. When you have
Correct.
you have an existing
But so are
alternative
movies.
in UFC.
So are movies.
But
True.
But movies, you know what you're seeing. Wrestling is two guys fighting. You could watch two guys fighting in the UFC and have a real outcome.
I don't think UFC is a big competition.
But if that's what you're into, if you're
It's
into
apples,
martial arts,
oranges.
mixed martial arts, combat sports, are you going to choose wrestling or are you going to choose UFC?
But it's like boxing. Boxing has fallen off. And
But that's what I'm
boxing-
saying.
and
None of
there's
that.
great
None of that
boxing
is.
out.
But that's my point. None of those are prime entertainment.
Right.
Must consume hours. Nobody is going out to
But
see.
in their field, they are. Combat
yeah, but
sports.
but you're asking casuals to come in. You're not asking wrestling fans. You're asking me now, but as casual fans, wrestling is not ever going to entice. So it is genre based. If you poll all existing wrestling fans right now, you might have more answers that you're looking for. Will they fall closer to AEW now because they're tired of what WWE is producing?
Well,
yes.
Not looking for any answers, but yeah, correct.
So to answer that portion, but you have to poll wrestling fans for that, not people who watch television.
Correct. Okay, so I see what you're
So
saying. It's
then,
not
yes,
as
there's
hot
competition.
as
Yeah.
the Attitude Era where wrestlers
Where
were in
wrestling was
movies.
something you had to see.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I don't
right.
think anybody is gonna go out of their way to see Kenny Omega on like, who's this Kenny Omega? I heard.
Right.
They're gonna go back to be like, oh, is that thing that Dwayne Johnson used to do still on?
Okay.
I told somebody in a meeting at work, I watch WWE, and someone says, is that still on? Is that still on? So that means it had a peak, and people, as children, like I've had criticism, you still watch WWE, that's like a kid's like show. So for me, I'm excited AEW exists because it's pushing NXT, and I think that's the right starting ground for AEW to
Right.
have competition with NXT. I think they're very similar,
Right.
and we'll see how they go from there. I think if you looked at a roster, the card for AEW and the card for NXT, you're not going to know many people on there other than your Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. Raw and SmackDown still have the hold. I'm excited for the move to Fox. I'll be putting out on my blog a list of where I think everybody's going to end up in the draft, which comes up in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I do think Raw is going to be the character-heavy
plug.
show,
It's a plug.
and I
It is a
do
plug.
think SmackDown is going to be the athletic show, where
Mid-card
people
box.
who are
100%.
excellent wrestlers are going to be.
I actually think they're going to change up the format to SmackDown quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think wins and losses are actually going to matter.
Yeah.
It's going to be more sports.
and I don't know if you guys heard, they changed up the commentary teams.
Yep.
Vic
You want to
Joseph.
talk about it?
Vic Joseph, very quickly. Vic
Did they
Joseph,
finally fire Michael Cole?
he's going to be on SmackDown.
Oh man.
He is with SmackDown. It's gonna be him and Corey Graves only, and Renee Young may pop in every now and then. It's gonna be a gentleman named Vic Joseph, a former NFL player. His gimmick name is Dio Madden. I forget his real name. And Jerry Lawler will pop in every now and then. And NXT has Mauro Ranallo, Beth Phoenix, and Nigel
Mauro
McGuinness.
Ranallo.
Yeah.
Shout out
Beth
Mauro
Phoenix
Ranallo.
on NXT, that's okay.
I
I'll give her
that.
that.
And then Renee Young and Booker T will be hosting a show on FS1,
Which is
so
good.
Fox is all in. Also, I don't know if anybody cares, but apparently somebody has returned.
Oh yes.
WWE
Someone
re-signed.
someone huge has returned actually.
Punk?
I wouldn't know if he's
No.
huge.
Oh.
No, I would say you,
Oh.
you hear the reactions.
Do you remember Melina?
Yes.
Do you remember who she was?
Joey Mercury's
Eminem?
in?
Joey Mercury.
Nitro?
Nitro.
Wow. Was
I would
Nitro
call
the
him
one that had his
Hero.
eye busted?
No, that was Mercury.
Oh, okay.
I don't really care. I'm not a big fan of
Johnny
John Morrison.
Mundo, Johnny
It's kinda
Impact, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Monday Night. He's back, former Intercontinental Champion.
Buddy Murphy before Buddy Murphy, in my opinion.
When you guys asked what would bring me back to watching WWE,
Is
it's
Johnny
not
Mercury-
that.
Now, he was on that Netflix show.
you.
That slow
He was on
clap.
Netflix show?
That
Glow?
slow clap.
Glow, he was on Glow too.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, he was on Glow. He was one of the trainers on
And he
there.
lasted one episode.
Yeah. Well, Carlito was on like an episode as well.
Hopefully it lasts more than an episode this time.
Word. Okay, so guys, that was this episode. Thank you. It was
heated.
it was
You got heated
lively.
at times.
No,
Yeah,
I liked
no,
it.
I like it.
I liked it. It was very lively.
I don't like
very
wrestling,
fun.
but I like this podcast.
Sean, where can they find you?
Please don't. But if you must, Twitter at Walk with Ali. Then the link to my blog is there. That's really all I want.
The link to his blog, which is
Midcard blogger.
down in the description. Miguel, where can they find you if you want them to find you?
In Richmond Hill at York University.
Oh gosh.
Right on.
These are the
In
coordinates.
public. Yeah.
Are you streaming now or no?
Streaming?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting a podcast going.
Okay.
at the same time. Yeah.
You
thinking
don't
of
like
getting a
competition. You're
podcast.
off the.
It's not gonna be wrestling though. It's yeah.
Oh.
So
Now this is a step.
Yeah.
there you go.
No, see.
Woo, we're the intercontinental title of the '90s,
Yeah,
basically.
I would say more European, but all right.
I think we're the TV title.
Oh man.
Ricky the Leaf, where can they find you?
You could find me on YouTube at 8-Bit to the Future, also on Instagram, all that 8-Bit to the Future, Ricky the Leaf.
On
Sometimes
Grinder,
Drake can tell.
8-bit.
Especially on there, the premium grinder, whatever that one's called.
And you can find me, Amreal, at Generic Side
Should
Quest.
edit that part.
Yeah, probably.
We will not edit that part.
It's attitude era on this podcast right now.
Thanks, guys, for coming in and listening once again. This has been your Generic Transmission. See you next week.